What is going on, guys? Arcade here with a brand new video for you guys today. I want to talk to you guys about getting better at Apex. What? Arcade making an Apex video? This isn't happening. This is a fake video. Anyways, to get my foolishness out of the way, I don't know why I started videos off by being a foolish clown. So Apex, I had an idea that I spitballed in one of my friends' live streams about doing a siege school but for other games. So, me being this big brain, strategic leader, IGL style siege player, giving you guys tips on how to be good or get good at other games, which we're going to do that. But in order to get into getting you better, we gotta first get out what you suck at and what you're doing wrong when it comes to these games. And there's a lot of things. It's gonna take a few videos. Bear with me. Bear with me. Why'd I did that? I don't know. Ignore me. I'm stupid. So the first thing when it comes to Apex, the game that I personally think is not that good, but I play a lot of it because I am good at it. I have a lot of highlights. There's a highlight channel. Link to that in the description box below. If you want to see me do good at Apex, it's just none of my highlights. Sometimes there's actual audio of me myself talking from stream, and sometimes it's just music playing because it's just a highlight reel. I don't need to be speaking during a highlight reel. For the most part, I don't stream Apex because I get bored of Apex really easily. And when I do stream Apex, it's more so just me bitching and moaning about Apex instead of me actually enjoying the game and doing things that I would usually do when it comes to me streaming. If you don't watch my streams, link to that will also be in the description box below. Give me a follow. I'm a good streamer. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. You tell me. Not the point. Anyways, Apex. So Apex is a game where I feel like, for the most part, people don't know what they're doing in Apex, and I feel like part of that reason for that is because no one's telling them how to be good at it. You look at Counter-Strike, you look at Siege, you look at even Call of Duty and Destiny. There's people out there telling you or giving you advice on how to be good at the game. Apex doesn't really have that from what I've noticed. I'll look at some Apex streamers and it's just them playing the game and as if, it's a game. There's no one giving tips on how to be good at the game. And that might be because they themselves don't know how to give that advice out because they're not IGLs. They're not, big brain players themselves. And they might be good at the game, but you don't have to be good to be smart. I said before, one of the smartest people in all of esports was not very good at the game he played. And that was Fabian from G2 and Penta, who played Siege. Fabian was not a gunner. He was not the best player on his team at all. He was the guy who played single player games, who had a big brain, who became the captain of a team that had a lot of good gunners, the Gogas of the world, the Pinkos of the world, Kanto Raketti, and so on. So he surrounded himself, he was surrounded by good players who were good at, playing the game itself, while he was the one who would be the IGL, the captain of the team, who's telling him how to do it. They were the gun, he was the one who wielded the gun. If you understand the reference. They were the tool, and he was the one behind them who pulled the trigger. So Fabian wasn't a great player. I'd say was, like he doesn't still play. He still plays, but vitality. Anyways, getting on topic. Fabian's a smart guy, big brain, all that good stuff, and I feel like people don't have enough of that in Apex. Someone who's a big brain, but not the best player. Now here's the thing when it comes to that statement. A lot of people feel like you have to be good at the game to give advice on it. You really don't. I watch a lot of sports. I'm a big sports junkie, sports guru, expert at sports. Want to know something that happens to sports? The best coaches aren't former players. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought that the best players in football and soccer and baseball, hockey are not all-time greats who played the game itself? Because you don't have to be the best athlete to be the best brain. Being a coach is about having the best brain in the room, not the most skills. And you can apply that to video games as well. So having a big brain will help you a lot. And I'll give you this advice right now. Play smarter, not harder is a very true thing when it comes to all games, including Apex. And a lot of what things people do wrong in Apex comes because they don't do things smart. They just react, and that's about it. So let's start at the top. Character selection. No one wants to talk about this when it comes to Apex because everyone just feels like, hey, I like Mirage, I'm going to play Mirage. I like Loba's thighs, I'm going to play Loba. I like Pathfinder because he's hilarious. I like blah, 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 blah. How about if you're playing ranked, Not trios or duos, but ranked. You pick who your team is going to need and who's going to be effective based on your play style. Because there's three play styles in Apex. There's passive play style, there's an aggressive play style, and there's a mix between both. There's always a mixture between both, and I kind of call that the smart way of playing the game. So if you know for a fact you're going to be playing an aggressive style of Apex, why are you picking defensive characters if you're going to be aggressive? At what point, let's just say if you're playing Wattson, at what point are you having the time to even use Wattson's gadget if you're a constantly aggressive player? If you're just getting into fights nonstop, if you're moving nonstop, at what point will you stop to actually put down Wattson's gadget? So what point do you have been picking her? Play smarter, not harder. It starts with selection of your legends. When it comes to picking like a Wraith, picking Bangalore, picking Gibraltar, pick your characters based on, first off, what you're good at. Second off, you're playing a full team, think about what they are good at and what they're not good at. Part of a good cohesive team is being able to know what your team struggles at and what you bring to the table yourself. So, got that out the way. What about the next step in getting good at Apex? Jump Master. Oh boy, this is going to be a hard one. When I say hard one, it's going to be hard for me because I hate Jump Masters. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate Apex Jump Masters because a lot of you are complete no-brains. And I had this conversation with a buddy of mine named Sum Young. Link to his Twitch will be in the description box below, as well as my Twitch. Great guy. We had a discussion about Jump Masters and how when it comes to jumping, people either full send when it comes to jumping, or they just don't jump at all. They'll just pass it off. And there's no between. There is no smart Jump Masters in Apex anymore. There's just, I'm going to jump where the entire freaking lobby is going, and I don't care about anything. I'm going to wait until everyone's out the freaking plane, and I want to jump on the far outskirts of the freaking of the map and just fight the zone my entire life, getting back to civilization. No between. So the first thing comes to Jump Master, and this is going to be a very, very, very pro Archangel moment here. Stop passing Jump Master if you're not in a full team. Did you hear that? Stop passing Jump Master if you're not in a full team. It's annoying. Honestly, if I'm playing a game and I'm solo queuing ranked, whatever, and I get passed to Jump Master, my first thought is, I'm just going to drop wherever the fuck I want, no cares on anything. I've had so many games where both people will switch Jump Master to me and then ping where they want to go. Why don't you just jump? That's where you want to go. Don't tell me where you want to go when you just pass the Jump Master to me. You were just Jump Master. And I don't want to hear any excuses about, well, maybe they're not good with being a Jump Master. You have to learn. If I'm playing ranked, I'm playing it in plat tier. So if you're that experienced with time when it comes to Apex, you should have the brain cells on how to freaking jump. And if you're not that high when it comes to your tier and your experience in Apex, you need to be jumping to learn how to jump. You can't learn from not doing something. You only can learn from experience. You have to be jumping. The only time where I feel like you should ever be past Jump Master is if you're playing in a full team and you know someone on your team is better at it than you are, and they can be successful with it, or if you're just trading around. I've seen people who are like, all right, for this game, I'll jump. Next game, you jump. Next game, you jump, and then just rotate. And that's how it is. Fine. But if you're solo queuing or duo queuing, whatever, don't just pass the Jump Master because you don't want to do it. That is a dumb reason. Do not pass jump because you just don't want to do it. Next thing that comes with it, sticking on the topic of Jump Masters, if you jump late and you see that there's 2-3 teams going where you're going, go somewhere else. Don't just be like, well, I'm committed to this. They're going to land first. It means they get first dibs at the loot. If you're going to land and get killed immediately, and you're going to be all upset, you're going to quit and yell at people and say, oh, it's your fault, it's this person's fault. You have the option to go somewhere else. When you jump, you don't have to go exactly where other people are going the first thing. Second thing, if you see other squads going there and they're going to get there before you, just go somewhere else. You don't have to be committed to the jump. Go somewhere else. And if your team breaks off, if you're solo queuing and your team decides, oh, we're going somewhere else, you need to go where they're going then. Don't just be like, well, fuck them, I'm still going here. And then you die, you send a message on freaking PSN or Xbox or Steam or whatever. Why did y'all leave? Because we're not stupid. We saw that there's 2 squads going there and they're getting there before we're going to get there. Might as well go somewhere else. So, That's the jump master side of things. Now we need to get into the nitty gritty, the gun skill of Apex, the fighting of Apex, and all of that stuff. And this isn't going to be one video. There's going to be multiple videos if you guys like this series where I try to help you get better at Apex. I try. All I can do is I can try. I can't guarantee anything other than that. I can only guarantee me trying, giving effort, and help you guys get better, and use my big Siege brain to help you get good at a game that's not anywhere near as skillful as something like Siege or Halo or Gears of War or even Call of Duty for that matter. I'm sorry, this game doesn't take that much skill even compared to Warzone. You can't see it, but I'm shrugging. Too bad. Anyways, gun skill. You've done all the things. You picked your operators, your legends. Sorry, I'm a Siege player. You picked your legends. You did your jump. Now you land. What's next? Looting. How do you loot? What's the best way to loot? What's the most optimized way to loot? Well, to me personally, this can be different for a lot of people. The most optimized way to loot is to not loot the exact same spot as your team. You hear that? If we land somewhere that's relatively decent in size, let's say there's 3 buildings in this area. One person go to each of those 3 buildings, and you just comb through it and take what you want, take what you need, not what you want. That's what I'll go with. We all have our favorite guns. We all have our preferred weapon to use. So if you already see, let's say you like wingmans. Say you land at building A, and there's a wingman in there, there's a massive in there, and there's a havoc in there. Just grab that wingman and ping the havoc, because maybe you got someone on your team who likes havocs. Instead of just being like, taking this, and they're like, hey, I don't have a gun. And you're just like, oh, well, there's a Mozambique in there if you want it, while you have a wingman and a havoc, and you know they're good with the havoc. Let them have it. I'll tell you how I play Apex when it comes to looting. I'll see things and I'll ping it if I know for a fact I'm not going to run it. Here's my usual Apex loadout. Flatline, Prowler, R9, R3, Wingman, and Alternator. More often than not, I'm using those 6 weapons. Sometimes I might use a Havoc. Sometimes. And I know, alright, that sounds like a lot of freaking weapons. That's because I'm good at the game and have a right. I can even run triple take and other guns. But those are the ones I tend to favor. And the reason why it's good that I pair the weapons is because I can pick one or two of those guns I just named and be fine. And tell my teammates, hey, this is over here. I'm not going to run R9 in this game. Here's an R9. I'm not going to run Prowler in this game. Here's a Prowler. Ping your teammates what you don't need. Don't just grab all the loot for yourself. You're not playing by yourself, so don't loot for yourself. More often than not, when I play solo, players are looting from, even when it comes to the vault, people are looting the vault for themselves. They get a vault key, they'll go to the vault, they'll take all the good stuff, and anything they couldn't freaking get for themselves, that's when they start paying. It's like, alright, I got the gold helmet, got the gold backpack, got the gold body armor. Hey, there's legendary body armor now. Hey, there's legendary helmet, there's legendary backpack. Spread that out. Spread the wealth. I do that a lot. You can ask 2 of my friends who are often in my streams, named Garrus, Angel, and CJ. I do that often. I'll often ping better things that I could use for them. I'll have on blue armor and ping the purple one. Because it's like, hey, you're on white, I'm on blue, just take purple. I have faith in my gun skill enough to where I don't need purple right now. I can get off someone's dead corpse. That's just how I see it. So I want to make sure my team is also getting kitted out, not just myself. And you should have that same mindset, even playing solos, not even just when it comes to me playing with friends. Even when I'm solo queuing and ranked, I try to make sure my teammates are also getting kitted out, not just myself. Think for your team, not for just you. You are playing a team-based game, so loot for your team, not for you. And I say this a lot when it comes to Siege as well. People in Siege aren't perfect. They tend to play the game as a solo mindset. Apex is the same way. People play Apex in a solo mindset. Play as a team. Even if it's just you and randos, use the ping to full extent. If you aren't in a party, send a party invite or message, hey, you want to party up to communicate? Try to find ways to just be a team. It's not hard. Do it. So the next thing, and we're going to wrap this video up and we'll have a part 2 at some other point in time. The next thing is actual gunfights. How do you get good at gunfights? Well, first and foremost, that depends on your settings when it comes to your PC, if you're on console, your DPI, things like that, your recoil settings, your sensitivity settings, and all this other stuff. And most importantly, if you are actually good at shooting. if you yourself are actually good at being in a gunfight. So if you're not good at gunfights, here's a first tip: team fire. If you know for a fact you aren't good at gunfights, communicate with your team to get in positions to where you are team fire. It doesn't care that matter who gets the kill. All that matters is if you down someone. If you get the down, if you're down in that squad. Team fire. Team fire is your team focus firing on one target at a time. Do that and you'll have a good chance as being successful as a team. Now, if you want to solo get kills and not rely on that, you have to improve your actual overall gun skill, which comes with your settings, because again, that does matter more than you know. It matters what your settings are. That's the first thing, and as well, you just have to be good. Practice your aim. Practice aiming from the hip, shooting from the hip. Practice aiming down the sights. Practice doing some screening. I have plans when it comes to this channel to do a tip video on how to do all three of those things: practicing hip fire, practicing screening, and practicing aiming down the sights. Basically, your overall aim. I will include ADS as your overall aim: hip fire, screening, overall aim. And I'll explain screening when I do that video. It's not as complex as it's going to sound. Trust me. When you see it, it'll be easier for you to understand. And so, in general, because we got to wrap this video up, we got to get to those videos in the future. Again, hopefully I'll have the videos out for you guys faster, sooner rather than later. But for the most part, find settings that work for you. Find a sensitivity that works for you. Find a DPI that works for you. Maybe turn off vibrations. Turn off vibration in your controller for your console player. But for the most part, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of actual fighting, make sure you have a gun that you yourself can use. Don't just grab any gun when it comes to Apex. Not everybody's good with an R9. Grab a gun that you yourself can use, that you know for a fact, I can put in work with this gun. Use that one. That's the first thing when it comes to winning a gunfight. Second thing is, focus on getting that weapon all the attachments. Don't just go like, alright, I have an R9, let's get into a fight. Maybe you should slow down and try to get some loot to make sure you have the proper body armor and have the proper attachments on your gun. And for that, we're going to talk about that in another video, because again, the video's getting pretty long. So in my next video, when it comes to Apex, Siege School, whatever you want to call this, I don't know what I'm going to title this series at all. We're going to talk about body armors and how you should react in combat to those. Got a lot of ideas, chat. I said chat. This is my live stream. See, this is why I need to follow my Twitch. Just follow my Twitch. That's the first thing you need to do. Anyways, but there's a lot of things I need to talk about when it comes to Apex and how to get good at Apex. This is going to take a while, so it's going to be multiple videos, multiple parts, and hopefully you guys stick around for the ride and enjoy yourselves. You know, I might sound like a very arrogant, try hard, but I do genuinely want everyone to get better at video games. That's how I see things. I want everyone to get better at video games, not just myself, not just my friends, you. Everyone needs to get good at video games, and I myself will help you do it. So if you enjoyed the video, enjoyed the potential of the series, hit the like button, subscribe if you're already subscribed. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good night. Bang!